have reached 1998, and right knowledge is reaching people all over the world. The Supreme Grand Master, Malachi Z is truly setting the record straight. Now listen to these facts, the voice of truth in these last days and times. The Milwaukee Nation of Moors brings you the man of the hour.
Well, meteorites coming May, November. Dr. William had to make them different if they hit. It doesn't make what they're going to do in the university or in the movie or in the church or the mosque. They're going to go inside the earth. They're going to make no difference. The meteorites on Earth. It's all it's going to be about where they hit, how much damage they do, and what people know how to survive under those kind of conditions. That's what's important. And what Milwaukee have not been studying, they should have been studying the wrong thing. They have not been studying survival tactics. Good point. Let's take that point. Let's take that point. Let me just show you something. Take that point, okay? You with me? He said, I'm the only one on this planet. I'm not going away with you. I just want to stop at the word planet. I'm the only one on this planet. What's the name of it? Right? Why? No, I don't want you to come. I want the heavens. Why is it Earth? Why is it called Earth? What does Earth mean? Earth means what? No, it doesn't. They don't give you a definition. They don't give you a definition of the word Earth in the English dictionary. They say from Old English, Old French, from Latin. They give a bunch of sound Earth and Dios, but they don't give you a meaning of it. They don't give you a meaning. Why not? They might know. Well, why don't they want you to know the truth? And then what? But see, when I pass it on to you, and it awakens something in your head, you stir it or self-explodes, then it's like, dang, you leave me and you gotta go check it out. But about the man that says, don't believe me. Check it out. What I really mean by that is don't believe anybody. When it's only me, it seems like you check out. Don't believe anybody. No, Shabbat, prove it. Prove to me if there's a tribe called Shabbat. Show me anywhere other than their lesson or their book where it doesn't exist. Anywhere. And if you say it's just God in the book of Israel, I'm the one that can go with them now. They didn't know that was there. God said it years ago. You know what I'm saying? And then 20 years later, people in the name of God quote the information that I put out back in the 70s, and you think they knew it. You know what I'm saying? And I give information to you that nobody else ever gave you. I say things, and I use words personally, like overstanding. So that when someone said it, you'll know it came from me and nobody else. I'm not going to be out. But still, I'm being classified with men that ain't saying nothing new. Every now and then, you get a fool who gets and say, well, man, you ain't saying nothing that I can't read somewhere else. I say, really? Let me say something you can't read someplace else, and then explain it to me. All right? What's the word aqua mean? Aqua. Aqua means water. What's the word aqua? What's aquamarine? You know. It's a color. And, right, what's the last part of the word? What's marina? Okay. Aquamarine, blue water. Alright. What's the word aquarium? Tank of water. Okay, I'll give you that. What resides in an aquarium? Aquatic. You know what aquatic? Fish, sea creatures? Okay. Now, let's think now. I ain't gonna hold you long. Let's think about this. You wouldn't put a chicken in an aquarium. No, I'm dead serious. I'm serious. You would not put a chicken inside an aquarium. What happened? The only type of creatures you would put in an aquarium are creatures that are suited for. Okay. Now, if you took and put in an aquarium some dry land, surface, maybe 2 spots or 3 spots of surface, then there's certain other type of reptilian creatures that you can put in that water, because the certain reptilians, they can stay merged underwater indefinitely, and if others have to come out periodically, like salamanders, crocodiles, fishes, frogs, turtles, and perch on land for a little while, but they must go back in before they dehydrate and die. Is that correct? This is an aquarium. You're on an aquarium. And this aquarium has far less surface than it has water. Don't go far now. This is interesting. There is more water covering this so-called planet than there is surface land. Alright? If you go back to the book that Muslims, Christians, and Jews subscribe to, the foundation of monotheistic beliefs on this so-called planet, within the first 2 verses of the book of Genesis, if anybody has a Bible or them, it reads, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was what? Was without form, and void and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And as you analyze the words, you get a reading of void, toho, darkness, ocean, upon the face, fading of the deep sea. So the planet was dark. There was no light yet, but the 3rd verse he says, let there be light. The planet was dark. And there was no land, because he didn't say that the land appeared yet. The planet was all dark. And without atmosphere of darkness, there was no form. There was no shape, there was no monuments, no mountains, no hills, nothing but massive water. Deep water. You hear me? And it says that the Spirit of God, and it says move. So if you look it up, you find the word hovered over the fading moed, over the surface, fading surface of the water. Let me finish. So it appears that according to the Bible, Genesis 1, 2, and 3, that this place, the blue planet, was all water. And there was no light. It was void. And it was dark. And the water was extremely deep. No human being could live there. You hear me? Alright. And it says God, and the word they use there is Elohim. One word they grafted, of course, from the Elohim, or Anunnaki, or the Nephilim of Egypt. Hovered. They hovered here above the water. This is what's there. This is what they got recorded. Then they said, let there be light. And there was light. And Elohim saw his light was good. His light was formed. It was told. It cooperated. The word good is not in there. The word was told. It was agreeable. It cooperated. So there was a purpose for making the light come. You hear me? And that light was to create heat. And that heat was to create what? Vapor. Create steam so that the water could rise up. And as the water began to rise up and the land mass that was beneath the water started to come up and form, surface, and the void was on, and the darkness was on, and the Spirit of the Lord covered. You follow? That's right. That's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is, if you were a caring God, Elohim, Yahweh, Theos, Allah, whoever, and you created a creature, and you were going to put that creature in an environment, would you put a chicken in an aquarium? No. Would you put a fish in the desert? No. And you would know what type of creature they are by where they are placed on earth. So if God placed man on the planet you're calling Earth, yeah? And the planet you're calling Earth is more water than Earth. And this man that you planted on Earth, we know scientifically that they have gills, because you breathe under the water in your sack. We know you had a tail because you were a tadpole. We know these things. When the water broke, you came into the dry land. You were in the womb of the mother in water and was breathing Right. So, what kind of creature is man really? If you don't accept that man is a reptilian, may not like the way it sounds. If you don't accept that you are a reptilian, then you'll have to try to figure out why God put you on this planet, as you call it, where there's no water. Because he could have put you on Mars, where they say there is no. And they say, well, then we wouldn't be able to survive. He could have prepared you to survive. People have to realize that you are a hydrate creature. You are a water creature. You understand? You are of the seed of the reptilian. You do have a disagreeable, destructive, violent, evil nature. There's no derogatory statement. Reality is, if you put two kids together, like I said many times, they give one a sandwich, the other one not asking for it, they'll try to beat their brains out and take it. Their first instinct is not to share, but to take it. They will scratch each other's eyes out. Kids will. Kids will pick a gun up and shoot another kid, without the emotions of it. They have to be taught what they did. Your natural instinct is not inclined towards being helpful, cooperative, and good with each other. Your natural instinct is inclined towards doing each other harm. Is all right? When beings interfered with that evolutionary stage of this dinosaur type of man, they were trying to put in agreeableness. And when the first group of them saw that all and every imagination of this person or thing was evil continuously, they thought to kill him. But they didn't want to kill the original reptilian man or dinosaur man because they wouldn't use water. They didn't. They wanted to kill the land man, the human. And that's why they flooded the earth as opposed to burning the earth or dehydrating the earth like they're going through now. And only people who can survive, or creatures that survive, or creatures that could die in the water. So the flood didn't kill the reptilians. They live on. And if Cain is a real story, and Cain went to the land of Nod, and the land of Nod were not descendants from Seth and Enos as humans, they were reptilians. Then Cain took a wife from amongst them and married a reptilian woman and had part reptilian and part human children. A seed of Satan, a serpent seed that looked like human beings, that dwell amongst us, walk with you every day. They came down, if you read, I think in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, they came down, just like they said, for everyone of her seed, there'll be, so for every one of you sitting here, if you're not the reptilian, the person next to you might be. When you were born, a reptilian was born. You gotta go back and read it again, it was written. There's an enmity between her seed and the serpent seed. And they use the word zera in Hebrew, which is seed, a sperm cell. You understand? To reiterate it in your mind phonetically, not graphically, not carving, not the letter, phonetically, the tone. They refer to it as semen. And you need semen to germinate. Now you haven't heard that before. So let's try to say it next week and then tell you that it's, for some of his followers sitting there, well, that's good, we'll take that back. You need semen to germinate. Right? So woman must be the land creature. Wait a minute. But she has the chaotic waters in her system. Because, as I said earlier, chaos stops when the semen all of these seamen raced for that ovum. And it was the one that got inside and closed started the germination of the genetic tumbling process. But the woman, being a different creature than the man, her body naturally set out to what? To destroy, reject that alien semen. That's a scientific fact. But her chemistry was programmed that she would produce, being partial children herself, would produce a serum that would protect the child. They're in the womb, the green-born reptilian. Well, you want to wonder? So when you go back and analyze this is not the planet Earth. It became known as the planet Earth because the word Earth, Hebrew Torah uses the word Eretz. You follow that? The Quran uses the word Ard, and the Greek uses the word Gi. Gi, as we know, is a Sumerian or Akkadian or Chaldean word for key. But when they get the word geometry, geology, to measure the earth, to study the earth, Gi is the word they're using for earth when they use the word geometry. When they use geology, they're using Gi. They're using a Sumerian word. They don't use earth. Now, modern day professors sometimes say earthology. They slipping, they got that. But even then, beings who came here from a planet in the solar or Sirius star constellation, which is called Set in ancient Egypt, or Ilium to others, who came here came from a planet where there was soil, where they walked around on the ground. Get it? And they had to hover above the water until they can prepare the planet for them to step down on it. Just like they did with Noah. And Noah, or with the Vision story, is showing them again. That's why you read it, you see that all the makings of the Adam story. That they were in the boat, had to check to make sure it's not anything, so they could come back out. Otherwise they would step out the boat and drown. They were telling you the same story about their own life. You hear it? That they had to come and create the environment so that they can step down off the craft on dry land. When they step down onto this dry land, they call it Adama. Adama. And that's the word for ground. Adama. When they set up their colonies, they call this place Iridu. A home away from home. And Iridu, and earth was bred out of that meaning. Earth, they know when they say it, is a Sumerian term used by beings who are saying by saying it, this is a home away from home. I don't really stay here. I came here for the Adama project. And that is to seed with reptilians and breed a hybrid. A fishman or a seaman. You hear me? Now, I'm going to let you take it apart, but it's more fun. Because I'm taking you to a level of information that you need to know for the day and time. It may not seem important. You need to know the nature. You need to know who you really are and what you're capable of doing, and also what you're able to do. You are able to survive underwater. You must know this. As long as they keep thinking you're not able to do that, you will not be able to do that. Yeah? If you follow me thus far, let me just add something in for you. Because many times people throw this at me, I've been telling y'all for years. Simply, I've come what? Give you what you want, If you learn to want what I really have to give you, and I'm starting to give you what I really have to give you, and you've been brought up to a level where you can begin to grasp. Those beings responsible for that breeding are called alchemists in your language. Alchemists. From which the word chemistry comes. See? And the word ham, where they get the word ham in the Bible, comes from chemistry. Also, misinformed people speak of Egypt, which is Tanaim, as ham or Kemet, a derivative of ham. And then they speak of the city, the first temple in Luxor, as they call it, where some laboratory experiments were going on with genes and chemistry. And some people were bred. I'll be there in a minute. When you get to Genesis 9:25, you start talking about Ham, give a verse of Cain. You're talking about Ham, alchemist, chemist, breeding, Lucy, that's right, breeding albinos. Hear me? These are the people who think, when I was teaching you Islam and the Third Seed of Canon, who think that in this new doctrine there's no link. And so they ran off where they belong. They didn't wait for me to give you what I had to give you. It was intent with what they had grabbed. Now it's time to link the pieces together so it's close. Did you catch that? Yeah. Alright, somebody should say it again. Chemistry, where some laboratory experiments were going on with genes and chemistry. When you get to Genesis 9:25, you start talking about Ham, give a verse of Cain. You're talking about Ham, alchemist, chemist, breeding, Lucy, that's right, breeding albinos. Hear me? These are the people who think, when I was teaching you Islam and the Third Seed of Canon, who think that in this new doctrine there's no link. And so they ran off where they belong. They didn't wait for me to give you what I had to give you. It was intent with what they had grabbed. Now it's time to link the pieces together so it's close. Did you catch that? Yeah. Alright, somebody should say it again. Chemistry. Some chemists named Ham, who's in your body symbolically as Ham, was a part of a three-part triad chemical experiment. You follow that? Always a three-part triad. And, Greg, now let me ask you a question. Another level. This planet, as you call it, Earth, is a melanite planet. Everything on the planet has what? And melanin produces color, pigment. Say it again, Doc. This planet is a melanite planet. Everything on this planet has melanin, thus everything on this planet has color. You with me? There's no such thing as a white dove. There's no such thing as a polar bear. There's no such thing as a white pig. There's no such thing as a white Palomino horse. There's no such thing as a white roach. All of these are defective genes. Alien genes. Genes not prepared to live beneath the sun and on the earth. This goes back a while. Again, if a loving, intelligent God was responsible for placing people and everything on the planet and creating an environment for people on the planet, which consists of a sun that gives off gamma and ultraviolet rays, and a planet Earth, and a spare 7 and place you within it, then if he cared about you, you should be able to live within that environment. And it should not attack you and give you cancer. However, if you are really don't belong here. You understand? But if your purpose is to own the ecology of the planet, this is going to get silly. You don't catch it. By not allowing yourself to be eaten and interfering with the chain of life, because from Genesis Homo to Homo erectus being stepped in and tampered with the genes from another star constellation and created a new zero time reference for human beings who were in an evolutionary chain from a dinosaur or an algae and an amoeba and a fungi who was already on an evolutionary chain, was being stepped in, interfered, tampered with the genes, and produced a hybrid called Homo sapiens, the gap in time through the whole cycle of existence, the whole chain of life form. All animals are confused now. All growth is corrupted now. Because being stepped in a massive living organism called planet, Earth as we call it, which is all water time, remove the water that for its proper time, brought out dry land, started seeding with reptilian beings, brought ape-like creatures from the Sirius star, that's why the star side and Cyrus just gets scary. That's why they do it. That's the same thing as Esau, like I said, or Mount Seir. You look it up, you find troglodytes and Gary mixed. Mix them in and produce a reptile from here. That's why when you look back at the ancient Egyptians, there's no hair. They wore wigs and put on beards. If you went to Africa, you'll find most Africans don't have no hair on their body. Most Orientals don't have no hair on their body. But they didn't have that mental mixture, that interference. You have a variety of different people here. People here. You have people that are mixed reptilian and ape. Some with a domestic type of ape called a gibbon, and another with a ferocious type of ape called a baboon, or an orangutan, who's aggressive, carnivorous. Then later on, down the line, when these two herbivore and carnivorous creatures mix, they produce a person who eats vegetables and meat. A reptilian ape who has hair and scales, but eats flesh and eats vegetables. Called it supper. But this existence being existence threw off the whole universe, the whole system of how things, you know what I'm saying, should gradually go. There's a state for this child from the time he leaves his mother's womb to the time they reach 7 years old. It's a gradual stage. If I step in and interfere while the child is free and tap into its brain, lobotomize it, and give it the intelligence of a professor who's 40, the child will seem very strange and will stop doing things that it's supposed to do. Now, you got to stay with this now. If that person, that child, is a massive part of all or whole, then there's a destruction, there's a disruption, there's a mistake, and everybody else reads wrong. Everybody starts reading wrong because we're one massive whole thing. You understand? That does everybody? Yes, man. It's this here. Okay, go ahead.
Read the Homo sapiens and the time period that they should have sold it off, that would have taken, that would have been millions of more years?
Oh, yeah. The evolutionary stage from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens would have been millions of years. They pulled out millions of years of time and knitted up time. You follow that? Now, that's why we have the problem we're having now. Because as the cycle comes back around with zero reference, we're already ahead of ourselves. So beings, crazy now, beings from thousands of years ahead are coming back there trying to fix the genetic defect. These beings are what you are going to look like in the future with the way the planet is moving. Namely, if the planet begins, the ice melts and the planet floods, and people have to go beneath the water or the cave, and they don't have exposure to the sun, and the melanin starts to die. If you stick your hand in the water or stay in the tub for a long time, where certain portions of the skin lift up so air, you know the reason why you have those wrinkles in your hand when you stay in the tub too long is because it's creating buoyancy for you to float. In other words, air pockets go in between it. That's why certain parts are up and certain parts are down. It's a scientific fact, and that's it. You keep your hand in too long, the color will leave your hand. It's like when you put a Band-Aid on your hand, and keep the Band-Aid on too long, the melanin is gone, you turn pale gray like red. Alright? If you stare at the sun too long, your eyes change. And you lose the brown or the hazel, and your eyes become one massive black. Your pupils dilate. It becomes one massive black thing. The beings that come here, that's how your eyes look. That's how far in the future they come from. Back here, to try to warn you, to bring you up to date to what's going on. They're called the Greys. They're taking the weaker genes amongst you, the defective genes, the albino, and experiment with them so they don't have to experiment on you. As I said many times, your grandfather was a bigger man than your great-grandfather. Wore 44. His jacket, when he was a kid, you put his jacket on and hit the ground. You might have a husband that wears a 40. He thinks he had muscle. And I always make fun because the strangest thing is the new generation of men, they wear these pants down here, they got these little skinny legs. You see them on the video, they all kind of, they got these bony skinny legs, and they're like, why do they like that? Y'all might not notice it, but I'm a scientist, so I'm looking at human beings scientifically going, look how skinny that's like. Why have I never seen them with that skinny in my life? What happened? Your grandfather didn't look like that. They wore 12s, 13 size shoes, 14s, 15s. So now if you base that evolution within the last 2 generations, or 4 generations, or even up to 1,000, you will be down to 4 feet tall. People are smaller than people here. They're all over the place. People are smaller. You don't hear of all these men 6'5" or more. The average man is walking around is 5 foot something now. Ramesses was 5'6". So it's not like you just go forward. Genetically coming backwards. And you start to get smaller. And children's eyes are getting bigger. You see it yourself and brighter. And their craniums are getting larger. Kids got these craniums and I don't understand he has a big ass head kids around there. You know? You look around and see, we have a problem with feathers. Because y'all can't wear the feathers. Your bodies have gotten small, you don't wear a 46 or a 44 jacket, but your head is getting big. And boy, I can't wear a feather, man. I don't find one that fits my head. So now look at that and look at time, and look at how they do not have control of it, they do not have any plans for it, they're not able to prevent it. Where are you going? 1,000 years from now, you'll be 4 feet tall with gray skin, big eyes, and no ears. Because as they increase the amount of machinery that they're making for industry, what happens? The eardrums go. Eventually, mutation means people's ears are getting smaller. You know what I mean? Look at people on television from old black and white movies and see how big their ears are. You know? They got ears this big. They talk very flat. It's real. Some of your grandfathers had ears down with hair coming out of it. Now look at the size of people's ears next to you. The lobe on the part is gone. Women used to wear earrings. Now y'all had to put holes up here because the lower part of your ear is disappearing. You don't have any air lobe anymore. Slowly but surely disappearing. This is evolution. This is a change taking place. The beings that you fear so much, the Greys, and why they hate them so much, and why they don't come and experiment on you the way you want them to. That's what I'm going to call it. Can I call it? But I always get to walk and say, how come they never abduct me? I want to go on the crowd. And then you find out who's saying they abducted. They probably by saying the Tuskegee experiment is get my drift? That's not right. You know what I'm saying? You just can't take people out there, out and put them on the table and just operate them. You did it to us. You experimented on us and put syphilis in our neighborhoods and our communities. You experimented on us in Vietnam with hate or what's called. You experimented with heroin. You experimented now with crack. Then you gave us methadone to put a new method. And now we're hooked on that. You've been experimenting with us. So now our future and our ancestors are now back here trying to solve our problem for the future and experiment on theirs. And you want to tell me that it ain't right. They're not supposed to do that to me. They ain't supposed to take me out of my room and float me through a ship, put it in, do all kind of movies about it. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at your own future. Go ahead.
People have holes in their head.
I have one. Yes.
I'm talking about here.
Oh, from where getting it pierced?
No, from what?
I have one there.
What's the liquid that come out and when did the hole go to?
The whole thing's down. The whole thing's down. Not straight back in. It drains down into your eardrum. And that liquid is nothing but accumulated when you wash your ears and you dump that same water is another 10 hours to come back out. Right.
I didn't know the eye part.
Right.
And I wanted to know what was.
Alright, here's what people must remember. Whenever you go to a doctor about your eyes, they tell you right away you're going to see an eyes, ear, nose, and throat doctor. They know that all those things are linked up. But they don't ever tell you that. They say you're going to check your ear, you're going to see your eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor. What you read, what you hear, and what you see is all linked up. The formation of the bacteria that makes up the skin on the human body, you in particular, not you per se, but you as us as a people, comes through our nostrils. We breathe in the bacteria that shapes and helps shape the womb of the earth creature and transform it from a sea creature to an earth flesh creature in the womb. It's coming through your nostril. That's why men don't understand why pregnant women have so much nasal problems. Because the baby is being breathed in. See, God said, I breathed into their nostrils and he became a living soul. The Bible says that people are formed in the womb through the nostrils. That's what the Bible says. Their scientists won't touch it, so they can't elaborate on it. The religious men can't see it because they're not educated enough. But if you read your scripture, it says, through your nostrils, I breathed my breath and you became a living soul. So the human body is nothing but bacteria pulled out of the environment that creates a magnetic body which has attracted it, and it's called skin. And it falls off, it dies, and new skin is constantly. If you scrape your arm with a razor blade, just scrape it and put it on and look under the magnifying glass, you see living things. You're a living organism from the tip of your skin all the way down to your bone. And that's another thing about it. It's not even as solid as you'd like it to be. You can be seen right through. If I had a piece of paper, I know what this is? Alright, go ahead, you figure it out. I had a piece of paper and I held it up. And I held it up there at light. You see the light through it. Right? Now, if I was to put a telescope in front of it, and kept magnifying the telescope, eventually I'd get all the way to the paper, the surface. And then I would see where the wood was pressed together and held together by some type of glue. If I keep magnifying, I'll see where the wood interlocks. If I keep magnifying, I'll actually see the small spaces in between. And if I keep magnifying, I can look straight through the piece of paper. But if I put it back and look at it, it looks solid. Right? Then you can do it solid. Now, people are the same thing. You're a bunch of cells that are magnetically being held together. Right? You understand? And can be seen right through with a high enough amplification of amplification of spectrum to look, you can look right into a person. you are not as solid as you think you are, just like a piece of paper isn't. Now the problem would be that the body is made up of a variety of different density levels. Density just means substance. Density levels. Things vibrating at different moods. So the lymphatic system, which is a water system, the bones, the skin, are all different degrees of matter. But they're vibrating at a different rate. So they're very different when actually they are the same thing. But they had to be weighted in order to occupy the same space at the same time. You understand what? Weighted. They had to be given a different vibrational rate because no two things vibrating at the same speed at the same time can occupy the same space. Space that'll crash, man, and explode. So you are composed of one form of thing, but vibrating at a different room, like different energies. One needs to move this fast, and one needs to treat it so it don't bother. One is moving, and one has to be slower. Another one is moving slower or faster. And the faster, the less dense. The slower, the more perceptive, the more I can respect it. Respect it. I can see it. I can see it here. This is why when you see a person in a car and they're watching things go by, what they're doing is they're respecting. They're not just specting. Spect is to see. They're not just specting. They're not just speculating. They're respecting. That's why the eyes go. Watch anybody's eyes in a moving vehicle. Eyes are doing this. You're trying to watch 1 and 2 at the same time. Because you need 1 and 2 to make the whole. You hear what I'm saying? Have I lost you? No. Go ahead.
Nubian women get fibroid tumors that grows in their uterus?
Okay, yes and no. What has happened is, you understand ecology. I've explained this before. You understand ecology, that's the environment. Industry, right, is responsible for putting a lot of dust in the world. Right? And they sound familiar, industry. No, they're not that much, they put these things together. The dust particles they're putting in the world, that doesn't sound crazy when I do that to y'all, but that's going to be the way I bring this stuff. When you start hearing, when you start listening to what I take words apart, put them together, and you start hearing them, then you're going to say, wow. You know what I'm saying? When I say the word manifest to you, and you go manifest, you say that means to come out and say, no, man investing something. Oh. And then when you can equate the two, eventually you're going to start doing it. So when people are talking, you're going to start taking it apart. And then words will no longer mean that. It'll be emotion. Emotion will no longer be expression. Expression and emotion together will start to interpret what a person really feels. And that's why your dog does not speak English, but he knows when you say sit down. And you can go from here to China, and you can meet a dog in China, you can say sit down, and tone in your voice. He'll pick up the vibration and emotion and know there's a forceful expression that he must respond to. Even when a dog sets out to attack you. You scare it first. Like a shot, and the dog stops. Then he smells the fact that you're really scared because adrenaline produces the sound. He goes, oh, you scared. And Jason's scared, you're mad. And I mean, they're walking, I'm trying to get back to something, don't get too far. You're mad, you walking along, and so you move the dog. That is the wrong move. The dog picks that up. And no, I'm not going to ask you to mess with this guy. I'll wait for the next day, I'll say some reason to move. Alright, the dust particles in the air, they're coming out through the exhaust. As I explained many times, as a result of pistons are putting final pieces of metal in the air. Do they notice? Yes, they do. Does it affect them as bad as it affects us? No. Because we breathe out our nose. We breathe, I shouldn't say out of our nose, we breathe through our nose. When 75% of the Caucasian population don't. They breathe out their mouth. You find it early in the morning if you get a public facility that will train with them before the lungs can readjust, and you know what I'm saying? You see you have to tell that breather. They breathe out of their mouth. And they will climb up in your face like this and circular breathe with you. This is why they grab you and they hold your hand and they pull you real close. You're like, it's all in my face. They're too close for comfort. They circle able to breathe the same way a dog does, the same way a cat does. A cat will climb up in your face and circular breathe. You know why they do that? Because their sense of smell is how they taste. And they can smell what you've eaten right out your nose as you breathe, not out your lips. They would tell you, if you're going to the woods to hunt, make sure that you don't have to go to the bathroom because a buck, which is a male deer, can smell the bowel in your system. He can know that you are a human being by the kind of urine that's created in your system and can smell you 100 to 200 yards away. A deer, did you know that? Animals smell humans. They don't have to only listen for the fact that the only creature walking through the woods on two legs is you. Think about that. The only creature that has to move the bushes are you. So they can listen. And they hear that, then you hear they say, oh, that's a human being coming. Because they don't hear the 4 hoofs and the streamlined body that makes it possible for a deer to walk through the bushes without having to move things. It's not a reaction. You hear me? Now let's figure that drop that on and come in handy when you have to survive. We're worried. The dust particles in the air, final metal, and microwaves and FM frequencies are charging these fine pieces of metal in the air and magnetizing them. You are breathing them into your bloodstream, taking in little magnets, and they attack the cells in the body and give you breast cancer, tumors, prostate cancer, and the likes. You're being electrified. That electricity, with all that metal, sometimes vibrates, and you hear buzzes in your head like a radio. Sometimes it overheats, and your whole body is so hot that it's going to explode. You feel this like it's going to blow up. Attitude. You follow? That's when you have so much of that metal in your body, that I have, that you can actually taste the metal in your mouth. And it's magnetized and it's going to attack the cells in the body and create cancer. Unless you learn. That means someone has to sit down with you with a piano or harp or something that has major sound, major chords. And they have to know what they're doing. They got to make you say something, talk for a little while, and then find your note. And then tell you this is your note. Henceforward, talk in that note. Keep your body in that tone. When you go to that mirage, you have to find within that spectrum of sound that your tone is in there. Your mirage will not start to have any effect until your tone is found in there. And when you go there and you make your chant in home, in the tone is found in there, only then will you be pulled into the energy in the firmament. All that is just your learning the ritual. And I just watch them walk around full speed. And so he would say, I don't feel nothing. You're not supposed to yet because you're not in tune. No, let no asshole think you know what he's doing. Tune you on the wrong signal. Your body vibrates as a tuning fork. The only way you can demagnetize something is by coming. Any signal that's on a tape, they'll tell you, keep it away from a magnet. If you're a magnet, it's going to erase all the signals on your tape. You heard that before. If you send to a studio to get your tape erased, the man's going to take a magnet, plug it in, go over the tape until he erases it. You have to have that done to you. The tetraionic currents that come out of the current is the only thing in triple helix that can do it. You understand? So, you have to find, let me finish so I say it again for everybody else might know. You got to find your tone. Everybody here, your body, the size of your body, your lungs, your throat, your larynx, everything about your whole anatomy is creating a tone. One of the tones in an 8-note octave. You're there. And someone has to find that for you who knows what they're doing. You don't play with it now. Don't play so I know not this piano. It ain't got nothing to do with being a good keyboard player. It got nothing to do with it has to do with knowing the tone. That's why I should say, and his name is tones is. If the person didn't know what that meant, then he's damn sure he could help him. Don't listen to him now. I said it tonight, you know, oh, now I know what it is. your tone, your body, and you learn to talk in that tone, and you learn to chant in that tone. You learn to bring your body down to a certain wavelength on that tone, because it'll be soothing to you. When you go to the Mirage for the alignment ceremony, right, and you're standing there and you're doing Om on that tone, with inside that Om sound coming out of the pyramid. The reason why you hear harmonics and unison simultaneously is because all the sounds in that 8 octave, that 1 octave of 8 notes is there. You know, one of them. When you start to learn to chant on that tone, you will pull your body to vibrate in that frequency with all the other people that are there, and you'll start to send currents out that will demagnetize you and realign you with the universe. Right?
Okay, my thing is, how would you be able to listen? Would you be able to listen to it? This is when you do the.
Someone has to sit down with you and tune you in, like a tuning fork, like an instrument. Once you are tuned in, you hear it. Then let's say it's me. Then I'll say, go over there to the pyramid. Just sit down and wait, and just keep going on that tone until you feel yourself get caught. You'll feel yourself get pulled right into it. Right? And then after you done that, then I say, now these are the tones you need. These certain letters will activate certain tones in your body. This one will activate yours. This one will activate yours. It's more to what I'm doing on this planet right now. I'm just talking about a lot of stuff that you've never heard before. And those who listen, fine. Those who don't, I really don't care. This is a punishment for me. Not a blessing. I'm a punishment trying to get out of here. Yeah, all of us have silences. As I said, I have parents.
To the point where if the weather changes a little bit from the summer to the fall, I'm sensing it. So then when I started doing the lobbying for the couple every morning.
Let me start where you go on. If you have sinus problems, you have to get your sinuses clear. Years ago, as ANSARs, I taught everybody how to take what's referred to as a nose douche. Years ago, I said, there's something y'all must do. And I said, if you do it wrong, the salt is going to attack into this membrane, and you're going to be wrecked. You're going to get it worse. You must do this practice. It's things that I've been trying to teach people for years that they need now, but they didn't take it serious then. You have to clear it out for it. This is your pyramid. The nose is your pyramid. You have to learn to bring the ka in, the ba out. Ka in, the ba out to activate the which is the eye. You have to be able to breathe. I don't have that big nose in my own.
Okay, I was doing the chapel every day, and I was doing the Kohon thing, and my whole sinus was cleared up, and I was feeling vibrations coming up through that middle chakra.
There's a bone there. It vibrates. How do you know?
So I was feeling when I was doing the Kohon thing.
You probably doing on the right note. That's why it happened.
So depending on your body.
Or you can do it by accident. You can just naturally talk at your tone. Remember I was joking about women answering the phone? And I said, women talk in one way and they go, you see, women tend to do that. They talk in one tone, and then when they start talking to us men, they go, and it's a new voice. There's no Minnie Mouse person. Well, when you get the habit of doing that, someone says, that's called chant, and you be over there trying to sing. You want everybody going, come on. What you're doing is you are pitching your body tone upwards out of your key. And you're cutting off the flow because you're over there having fun. You sound nice, and I'm going to walk past it, then she can sing. When you got nothing to do with getting yourself to do, you probably were doing it right. You follow? And it opens up. I can't, I'm not exactly going to tell you I know that, but you know that. If I don't know, I say, I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is. Yeah, there's 9 stages. That's the stage 1. Yeah, right. I see over there. Okay.
Can you tell me how you correctly spell the oval gland and how do you find information?
Not Bobo. It's Bobo gland. And it doesn't exist. It's in the computer. I did not make that up. No, not you. Not you. People swear that every time I thought I made something up, but right now they confirm it. But then they go find it, they never go and say, Pops, I found it. And then they go and say, that's true, man. It's called a Bobo gland. And you can find it. B-U-L-B-U-L.
B-O-L?
B-U-L. and you can't, and they might, because of foreign word, they might say ball, B-O-L, B-O-I, but for that purpose, the devil has a way of altering the tones of things by altering the spelling of them, like fuck. So the pH for psychology, the most important word in the damn language, is being spelled wrong. Psychology is being spelled wrong. And that don't think psychology should be spelled right. I don't know psychology. There's a P. It's like saying sugar, S-U instead of S-H. You think you say, oh, these are just, no, these are introductions into the language to all the coincidental of realignment, of you talking and speaking in tones like the walking is going to do, and cause your mind to start vibrating so you can make that transformation so that regardless of what happens on this planet, you can get out of it. Because you'll be able to transform this body. As long as you are only able to vibrate on one level, whatever happens on that level happens to you. You know what I mean? When you're capable of altering the vibrational level, you're able to use your gills as well as your lungs, you'll be able to shift yourself and walk straight through fire. You understand? What about that, man?
Thanks for what you're saying about the evolutionary process of that being coming back to tell us exactly what's happening to you, right?
The natural are setting back futuristic beings of yourself that they help in. Yeah. Called waves. Reminders in them, yeah. Go ahead.
Alright, I just want to know, in that process of evolution, will we lose like a connection with the Anunnaki?
You have lost connection with the Anunnaki. And that's why we're back. To relink you up. That's what I call realignment. I gotta get y'all back on the station. Y'all are on station. Y'all are listening to somebody other than Maestro. You know what I'm saying? We're listening to Maestro station. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get you realigned. Because you're all sick. That's why people used to walk and talk with God. And God said to Moses, it's also your ancestors or elders, the Neptune would speak with you, communicate with you, guide you. Now it's so difficult, they can only guide you in the most crucial times. Like when you're starving drunk and you have a purpose in life, so they drive your car home for you and park it in the garage, rather than you get smashed up on the highway. You follow what I'm saying? Or they make you turn at the right time, and then someone says, man, you didn't know you going that one, you just had a shootout down there, man. You like, I was just getting ready to go to that store, I changed my mind. They changed your mind. If you have a purpose, and everybody who's here that wants to be here has a purpose. There are people that are here because the devil sent them in here because they must turn me into the monster. I have become the bad guy, so I can't get this kind of information to you. And they don't have this in their Bible the way it needs to be written. And they're afraid. So they got to turn me into the cult leader, the suicide cult, and all that crazy crap that you say, oh, I'm not going to listen to them. When you saw here tonight, you went to another level that Reverend Pork Chop and Pastor Chicken Wing couldn't take the doorman to God around the world. And to take it to a level where you can go and investigate this and see how it relates to you and plan for the future. Telling you that Jesus is coming is a confession that Jesus left. Let me say that one more time. To keep preaching about Jesus coming is a confession that he left. And I would like to ask you why he left us in this state. Let me ask you before you get back. Christians get back before you get back. Let me ask you. If you created the devil and gave him the power to do his devilment and didn't give me the power to combat the devil, and you have the power to combat